Episode 24 of We Stand Corrected is brought to you by Don't Be That Guy.
All right, folks. It's time for another installment of Don't Be That Guy, where we call out the people who make us all collectively cringe. Today's guy, the uber cheapskate. You know the one.
Oh yeah, that guy. He orders the cheapest Uber X when, in reality, he needs an entire moving truck and a prayer to fit everything.
Picture this. The guy shows up to the curb with a family of five massive suitcases, a stroller, and somehow a sense of confidence that'll fit into a Toyota Corolla.
You're looking at the Uber driver like, "Sir, do you not know the laws of physics?" The trunk barely fits one suitcase, and the family's all standing there like they're trying to solve a Tetris puzzle with luggage.
Then they try to drop the seats back to make room, quote unquote. But now the family's got to decide. Does Grandma ride on somebody's lap, or does one of the kids have to ride in the damn trunk with the luggage?
Meanwhile, the Uber driver's standing there with a blank stare like, "This is not in my job description. I'm not a magician."
And the cheapskate guy has zero shame. He's like, just hold the suitcase on your lap. It'll be just fine. Meanwhile, his kids are squished into the back seat looking like canned sardines, holding onto their carry-ons for their damn dear life.
And don't forget that one suitcase that's definitely not fitting. So now it's riding shotgun with the driver like it's paying passenger.
Look, man, we get it. Uber XL costs what, 10 extra bucks? But if you're beginning the entire cast of the reality show and their luggage, just spring for the bigger car. You're not saving money when your kids are wedged between the door handles like human armrests.
Exactly. Don't be that guy. Respect geometry, respect physics, and respect your Uber driver's sanity.
And there you have it, folks. Another reminder not to be that guy. If you've got a story about a cheapskate Uber rider, or maybe you've been just that guy, send it in.
Yeah, we won't judge. Okay, we will. But it'll be funny.
Don't Be That Guy is brought to you by Common Sense. Use it, please.
I go ham on a bullet beat combined to Il Brio. Call the homies up and make tracks with my people. Cause when we join forces, we know that he is with us. We talk to him and keep a strong witness. So when I say I'm gonna take you to church, I really take you to church.
Man, episode 24.
24. Stand corrected, get corrected.
Can you believe we made it that long?
It doesn't seem like it, man. It's been fun, though. I've enjoyed every bit of it.
Oh, I know. We're just gaining listeners by the hundreds, man.
You know, the thousands.
Coming in strong.
Can't stop all these paychecks from all these platforms we're getting.
I know. What are we going to do without TikTok, man? They're taking TikTok.
You know, I don't think TikTok will ever go. It'll never go away because we'll save it. It's too much of a bargaining token for all the politicians, okay?
Even though the great Joe Biden said he wouldn't collect and he'd leave it up to us to solve. I also heard that it might still go dark Sunday, regardless.
So, you know, I was reading earlier today that one of the Shark Tank, you know Mr. Wonderful off of Shark Tank?
Who doesn't know Mr. Wonderful?
Mr. Wonderful put down a few $billion offer to buy TikTok.
Yeah, but are they for sale? Like, are they really going to take the bid?
I think they might. I mean, they either got to sell or they'll lose basically an entire country.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, okay, let's look at like they sell. It's not going to be the same regardless. It's going to go to like fucking Facebook and Instagram Reels, which suck dick, and excuse my language.
Well, Joseph, it just won't be ran by the CCP any longer, okay?
The CCP. That's not even the Singaporean.
Like
That's running it.
Chinese party. You know what the CCP
When it's nothing. It's not even in China though. That's what doesn't make sense to me, dude. Like they don't even allow TikTok in China.
Toyota, I mean that's in America too, but it's owned by China.
Toyota
or Japan. I'm sorry for all Japan, not China.
Yeah, exactly.
Pardon me.
Do you remember, and I think it was your Trump administration, your boy, they outlawed the Chinese smartphones? Do you remember that? Because of the same thing. So China has like a iPhone competitor and Samsung competitor.
Right.
And they outlawed it because they said there was spyware in these phones.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same reason, right, for TikTok.
I mean, I get it. I mean, but at the end of the day, the way I see it is, look at all the social media platforms. We have Yahoo, YouTube, Google. There's thousands. There's some of them you've never even heard of that people use. And some of them are pretty illicit, to be honest with you. I mean, why TikTok? They're all information harvesting.
Yeah, and if you're going to take TikTok, you need to take Temu, and you got to take Shein.
Yeah,
those are Chinese ran.
Let's not forget about Wish.com. That's the fucking
no. And this is where I get with this, is because it's like, is it really about TikTok, or is it about saving your interest in what you've already invested in with Facebook that's already gone from like $10 a share to $606 a share?
And it could be.
And is that the corrupt government coming in saying, with Zuckerberg complaining and going, all right, if TikTok stays, we're going to be hurting?
You really, and that's the sad thing, is you really do have to wonder if our government has fallen that corrupt. Is it really like an oligarch? I mean, is the government really ran by billionaires and elite, quote unquote, elite, celebrities and millionaires and oil tycoons and stuff like that?
You got to wonder, right? But you've also said before, like, some of these guys have been in on stocks that they knew were going to boom.
Absolutely,
and
man.
Facebook was one of those that boomed like that.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at some of the people in Congress that went from, when they came into Congress being worth a few $100,000, now they're worth a few $100 million in a matter of 10 years. That doesn't happen.
They're not making that in salary.
When they don't own any businesses, it's all investing.
And to me, and you talk about like how we try and ban all the manufacturing coming from China here to save money so we can manufacture things. But I also feel like if we don't let those Chinese products in, like, there's no competition to serve our growth. Right? So like, you don't let a Chinese smartphone maker in, right? Like, we're subsidiated to iPhone and Android, your Samsungs that, take over the market here. But you look at now, like with Red-Note, dude, I logged on there, and you look at like some of the Chinese infrastructure and stuff and how much more advanced you're seeing that they are than we are on everything. Like, their electric cars, way cheaper than ours, way more efficient than ours. Charge faster, charge better. They have way more infrastructure. Like, if I get that we want jobs to happen here, but how can you promote growth and competition if they can't challenge us to be better?
Well, I think the thing that they do here is that our jobs, they're not like in China where you can pay a 12-year-old like $5 a week and work them 14 hours a day.
Yeah, but I think that's what they've made us out to believe.
Oh, well, I mean, and I'm sure to some extent they probably have, but you can also get a lot more done for a lot cheaper over there.
You can, but like I said, like, if you go check out this Red-Note, bud, I don't know if you have yet. So it's the pettiness of us here in the US going to the Chinese version of their own TikTok. So China has their own version. It's not TikTok. It's called Red-Note. It's their version because they don't allow TikTok in China.
Right.
And they have basically welcomed everyone from TikTok, and they call us TikTok refugees. And they say, they're embracing us, dude, on their platform. You got to go see this. And but they start showing you around their country and everything about how it is and how that we've made it look for us and how it's not. Like, their healthcare, 100% cheaper than ours. Their housing,
so they say.
Their housing, 100% cheaper than ours. With as many people that are there.
Right, but they're like stacked on top of each other, and you could probably blow one of their homes over with a swift fan.
Dude, I don't go look at these videos before. Like, that's what we were made to believe. But what they show on this, like, you can't just show that. And they have stricter rules than what we do compared to TikTok about what you can share. It's not all just
bullshit.
You can read it on the privacy policies that they put out, that they've translated for us as well. I'm serious. Go check it.
They make sound good for American people.
You're going to get us canceled, dude. Keep that up. You're going to get us.
I don't know. I don't. Have you ever seen the movie The Interview?
Yeah, it's been years. That's
Where they
one
go
I haven't
to
seen.
They go to North Korea and they meet Kim Jong-un.
That's right, yes.
Do you remember the part when they're walking down the street, or they're driving down the road with this North Korean liaison, and they go, "Oh, look, the grocery stores are full and bountiful." And they're showing this store and this little fat kid on the side of the road eating ice cream. But then later in the movie, they find out that it's all like just a video studio. It's none of that stuff's real. It's all propaganda.
It probably is, but it's all propaganda what we show too. I mean, everybody's nothing but lies on there too. Even our government that signed up.
Absolutely not.
Even our own government officials that sign up there and want to ban it, but they used it for their own promotion and voting for them and shit. Like, come on, man.
It's all bureaucratic, twisted bullshit to some degree.
And you know what gets me is like half of these guys are what, 70 years old? They probably don't even know how to log in on Wi-Fi.
Right.
They probably don't even know what Wi-Fi is.
Well, some of these people, and to me it's like, okay, you're worth $500 million now from your insider trading bullshit, and you're 84 years old. Hang it up. Like, yeah. Why?
I guess the thing is, unless you're going to lead, you have to be able to relate to the people you're leading, right? And I'm sorry, but if you're 70, there's nothing that's going to relate to the new generation coming in. Like, as a teacher, trust me, like, you can't be a good teacher unless you relate to the youth. It's no different. If you don't relate to those kids, you got nothing. You can say whatever you want to say, but if you're not going to relate to them, like, they don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, if you want respect, you got to be able to relate.
Yeah, I agree. I think I mean, to get elected, you have to have enough people supporting you. You have to have a common ideal.
It's like your boy Trump, because the Republican Party has for so long relied on what age group? For so long.
What age group did they rely on?
Well, Sonny.
No, come on now.
And he finally got on TikTok to relate to who? I'm just saying.
I mean, you have to, right?
Ding, ding, ding. That's kind of what the fucking clocks got hit there, right? Like, that's where the biggest base is of the vote population, 170 million people.
Yeah. I mean, you have a point there. I mean, if I was running for president, I would want to reach out on every platform that I needed to reach different groups of people.
Because the Democratic Party ain't got a lot of boomers, son. Just saying. The boomers don't vote Democratic for the most part.
I know a couple that do.
I know a couple. Not the majority. I said the majority.
Okay. We'll just have to agree to disagree on this one, pal.
No, let's get fucking corrected here, because now you're about to get corrected on a whole
I've been trying
to
correct you for about 18 years now. It never has worked.
Yeah, well, same with you and your stubborn ass. Sometimes you...
Oh, now you've been talking to my wife too much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of like that time when your wife called me, right? About 18 years ago.
When you were at Applebee's? That was awesome. Let's tell that story right now. That was a great... Can I start it out, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, my wife and I go to happy hour at Applebee's, and, it's Friday night. We're going to go get a couple beers, and who do I see in there? I see Joe in there. And I told my wife, we'd had a few, and I said, do this. I said, I'm going to give you my phone. Or no, I think I had a call from her phone, right?
Yeah, it was her phone, because it was an unknown number that came to my phone.
So I gave her Joe's phone number and said, call him and just mess with him and, act like you're interested in him or something and, make up some bogus name.
I had no idea you were there.
We were sitting across the restaurant and I'm watching him and I don't see him pick up the phone at all. Like, my wife is talking to somebody and I'm like, this isn't you. Who the hell are you talking to? Well, it was his wife.
I wasn't married then.
Or, okay, his girlfriend. And she was fucking livid, thought he was cheating on her.
Yeah, man, I didn't have my phone. I forgot it at her house. And so I left the night before. I went all day without my phone that day. And it was actually my dad, because I was still living at home. And my dad and I ended up sitting at the bar at Applebee's while you guys were hiding off somewhere else where I couldn't see you. I'm sitting there with him, and we check out to leave. And we leave, and I think we saw you, and you're like, hey, I believe, if I remember right after this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, at this time, I started on working, like, hey, I got to go get my phone, like, trying to figure out how I'm going to go get it and whatever. So I used my dad, and I called my girlfriend at the time. And she's like...
She was pissed.
I call, and it's ringing. And she's like, hello? I was like, hey, I'm going to come get my phone. She's like, yeah, okay. I was like, what's wrong with you? Some girl called your phone. What? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, some girl. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, so she's giving me this cold shoulder. I don't know what's happening. I'm just like, I'm on the way. Hey, come get it. And I was like, you can just show me this number when we get here and I'll call it, whatever. Like, I don't care. And man, she was mad. I got there and I get my phone and I'm like, well, what's the number? And so I look at my phone and she's like, yeah, just accusing me of cheating and lying. And I'm like, all right, well, I call it. Well, guess who answers? This guy answered. And boy, did her face go from mad to, I fucked up.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I felt so bad for a long time.
You got voted off the island there.
I did get voted. I've been voted off 2 of your islands, I think. Apparently, I'm bad I'm a bad influence and I'm not acceptable through customs. Somehow I always make it back, though. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Voted off the island twice.
Voted off. We won't go into the second one.
The 2-timer. Yeah, we don't want. That's a long story. We don't have enough podcast hours for that.
No, I don't pay for enough time on that one to go live. Okay. Anyway, should we get on our topic today? It's took us 20 minutes to get here.
Let's do that. We kind of polled some people on this question, or Joe did rather, through social media. And the vote was...
You want to take us in?
Yeah. How do you say Colo-RAD-o? I say Colo-RAD-o. Some people say Colo-ROD-o.
Yeah, and so when I pulled this, I got a big response off Threads. Speaking of meta, that freaking guy. Anyways.
We pulled it out of the metaverse.
We pulled it out of the metaverse because for some reason it just kind of trended on Threads. And we got a lot of votes there. And I said, how do you pronounce the great state of Colorado? And 59% voted Colo-RAD-o. And 41% voted Colo-RA.
See, and to me, I feel like if you're a native Coloradan, you say Colorado. I mean... To me, it's more the people that are not from here that say Colorado.
So, and I got so lost in this because I called you because after I heard this,
Joe actually forgot how he says it because
it made me think like, do I say Colorado or do I say Colorado? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know now. What do I do? And so Kurtis was like, well, here's what you're gonna do. He was like, you're gonna listen to that John Denver song, and he was like, you're gonna sing it. And you're going to tell me how you sing it. And so I was like, Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. And so...
You're a member of the Rad Club, dude. I mean, what do you say?
I was a member of the Rad Club. And I still don't know that I'm 100% Rad Club. But then I got to thinking, like you said, Coloradans, I would say Coloradans, right?
And I feel like the older generation really says Colorado. If they're native Coloradans.
That says Colorado?
Yeah. Yeah, like older, 50s and 60s.
Yeah, and so that's where I was going. Like the history, I got to on my Chat GPT rabbit hole here, and it was actually, since you're the history guy, the Spanish history, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's some Spanish history that comes out of Colorado, and so with all the Spanish that we have here and Hispanic heritage that has came from that, ROD-o was the original Spanish name, though, from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it referred to as, even though rojo is red, ROD-o is being red, color of red. That's what I believe I read.
Colo-RAD-o.
ROD-o, no.
Huh.
from the Spanish heritage.
ROD-o's red, yeah.
Yeah. Which, that's where the ROD-o would come from the history and Spanish heritage. And so maybe that's where you say, with the older crowd, they say Colorado.
Didn't you know where they get the color red? Why they called it that?
From what I read, it was from the red silt of the Colorado or Colorado River.
Down in what part of the state? My favorite part of the state.
The Rio Grande, the southwest part of the state?
The southwest, man. Down there where all the rocks are red, the water's, the Colorado's red.
You said, yeah. And so, I don't know. That's where I get confused and I get lost. But I guess I'm going on the ROD-o because John Denver.
Like earlier, okay, when we were discussing what to discuss on we're having a discussion on discussions, what to discuss on this podcast. And I said, what do you want to talk about? You said, I thought we were going to talk about Colorado. So you defaulted. You're not a ROD guy. You're a RAD guy. How do you guys say it? Please comment on this and tell us.
Yeah, and we need to know. And I can't open that vote back up because only Meta lets you do 24 hours. Come on, Meta. Like, if it was TikTok, it would still be up and going.
We still got a little while longer for TikTok.
Maybe.
When Mr. Wonderful buys it.
He's not always so Mr. Wonderful.
It'll be him or Elon Musk.
God.
He'll need a platform to show off all of his rocket launches.
Gosh, and just what he did to Twitter over there. And like, let's rename TikTok to TalkX.
I believe he bought Twitter out just to eliminate it, to be completely honest with you.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I could see that guy doing that.
He bought out the competition.
Maybe that's why you don't like Chinese electric cars over here.
Speaking of Elon Musk, and it's kind of off topic, but I've got a really interesting story about him that I read. He went to a hotel, and somebody did not agree with like his views, and they didn't want to let him stay there. And this was, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And he said, oh, okay. And he came back the next day, talked to the same people as the owner of that hotel, and fired him.
So he bought the hotel?
He bought the hotel just because.
True story?
I don't know how true it is.
Do I got to fact check you?
Sure, go ahead. I told you, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's a good story.
Yeah. I could see that happening. I mean, he actually did clean up Twitter. We had like 200 followers. They're all gone now.
They were all bots.
All these bots.
They mentioned Colorado, so we're going to advertise Colorado tourism.
Yeah.
Pretend to like their podcast.
Pretend to like it. But, and then so, like, I went down this rabbit hole of pronunciations of Colorado. Think of all the weird, like, Colorado names we have that are Hispanic that you don't say it like that, or Spanish.
Absolutely.
Like
some of the roads.
Buena Vista. Buena Vista. If you looked at Buena Vista, you would never say Buena Vista. That's nothing a Coloradan would say.
Well, what's that famous avenue downtown that everybody likes to drive on?
Tejon?
No, the other one.
What do you... And the Springs? What are you talking about? Downtown Springs?
Yeah, the one on Springs, yeah. Starts with
the famous Nevada or Nevada?
Is it Nevada or Nevada?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the proper pronunciation is. I've always called it Nevada.
I have too, Nevada. I have heard the other way as well. But then you look at like Denver too. Like there's what's called Zuni Street, and people call it Zuni Street. I don't know if you've heard of that, right? That's another one. Trying to think of a few others I saw. Salida, right? Another one. Like, but back on the Buena Vista one, that's not how you would say it, I don't think, in Mexico.
Was it Buena Vista or Buena Vista?
That's right. That's how a lot of people would say it, is Buena Vista, right? But we say it Buena Vista. Then you have towns like Salida, Plelo.
There's Mesa Verde. That's right, Mesa Verde.
Yeah. What about Plelo?
Pueblo, Colorado.
Yeah.
Some people call it Pueblo or Pueblo.
How would you say it?
How do you say it?
Pueblo. La Junta.
Another La Junta.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to, you look at so many of the streets downtown in Colorado Springs, like you have Nevada, Tejon, Vermejo,
Yeah,
Sierra Madre.
Some people call Tejon
Tejon. Senor Manuel's.
Senor Manuel's. And then up here in Denver, I've heard people call Champa Street Compa Street.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
I think I've heard the name Champ. Did you say Champa?
yeah, Champa. Like champ and A at the end. It's weird. I'll be listening to it on Uber, and Uber goes, "Take a right on Compa Street."
I get a total kick out of how, like, Google navigation pronounces things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I'm gonna throw us off subject here, but our "Don't Be That Guy," since we're brought to you by "Don't Be That Guy," was kind of brought to a "Don't Be That Guy" all-on-purpose segment today. And so, as you know, I was going to tell you the story. I was waiting for it right now.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
And since we got all this snow coming in this weekend, I was trying to beat the snow out. And I was like, I'm going to try and get like as many rides as I can for the snow. And I get this ride to the airport. And I'm like, $40. I'm like, shoot, got to take this before the snow hits. This is cool. And I'm looking at the name. And I can already tell by the name, it's somebody of Indian heritage, right? Can't say the name, can't pronounce it. And I show up. And I pull up into the driveway. I asked if I could pull up into the driveway because they didn't shovel their sidewalk or their street, and it was just a big ice skating rink out there. And so this guy, he comes out, Indian family, comes out with like 3 bags. Dude, and they're the biggest suitcases you can find on the market, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Like kitchen table, like looking big motherfuckers, dude. And I'm like, and I see these
what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, and like I got the Uber X, homie, but mine qualifies for comfort. So some people think like comfort's like a bigger ride. Comfort necessarily means newer car, right? So you're gonna get a newer car that's less than 5 years old. That's what that means. And so mine's got the leg room. It doesn't have the trunk space. But I can get creative for people. I don't mind getting creative for people. Like if they come with because a big suitcase barely fits in my trunk. And this guy, I mean, he brought the kitchen sink, homie. Like I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, dude, my battery's going to die before we even get there if we make it. With all the weight. And so I go, how many bags you got? And he goes, 5. And I go, 5? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And he goes, no, the rest aren't that big. So he brings the one out that's huge. And I'm like, all right, the rest aren't that big. We'll make it work. Dude comes out with 2 more huge bags, the same size. And I was like,
shit,
dude's already lying. So I was like, okay, well, we can drop the seat. How many people are going? He goes, just the 2 kids. And I was like, okay, so we'll drop this seat. The 2 kids can ride in the back, and you're going to have to ride up front. It's like, all right, cool. He goes, I got more bags. And I was like,
oh my God.
More bags. So he brings out like 3 more like carry-ons. And so, all right, I get him in, and I can fit him in the back seat on the floor. Like when you fold the back seat down under the headrest.
Sure.
Like, dude, I got it in there like a damn Tetris puzzle. I seriously did, just like the skit. And I'm like, all right, I got it. Kids can go in the back. You can go in the front. Then the wife comes out. So now I got 5 people, 6 bags. And I got 4 seats that include me. So they only get 3 because I already eliminated 1 seat. And I said, what are we doing here? Like, well, I'll pay you money extra. And I was like, really? Like, you could have just ordered the XL if you wanted to pay extra money. Like, he goes, come on, I'm good for the money. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not good for me if something happens. I was like, I ain't taking you. He was like, oh, come on, man, I got money. I'm like, no, like, I'll cancel it. Like, you need to order an XL. Like, that's the right thing to do. If you're going to pay money, like, that's what you should have done in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I don't know whether he was trying to be a cheapskate or just save money, because he wasn't going to tip me. I was like, I know better than that. Like, you weren't going to throw me extra money.
Well, usually when somebody tells you they're good for the money, they're usually not.
Right. And so I was like, this ain't happening. I don't get paid enough money to drive you around illegally. Like, it ain't worth the $40
No.
with the snow coming and you acting like a jackass.
For the kind of tickets you could get for that.
No. And so I said, I'm out, like Mr. Wonderful.
I'm out.
Thanks, but I'm out.
Sounds like a wonderful deal, but I'm out. Yeah, I can't say I blame you there. I wouldn't do it. I mean, because it's like the one time that you do something wrong, if you're like me, you're gonna get in trouble for doing it one time. Then you see people doing that kind of stuff all the time. You know, the one that gets me is when you see people that drive around with their temp tags expired for a year.
Yep.
If my plates were expired by a month, I'd be getting pulled over.
Exactly. So would I, man.
You know, sovereign law-abiding citizen doesn't get away with shit.
Man, I get the biggest karma ever.
Yeah.
For following the rules.
Exactly.
I also got to apologize, too, because of my dumbass, because the last 2 weeks.
That's unacceptable, Joe. Unacceptable.
Well, my good friend here didn't really tell me that my audio quality was not all that good. And in my ears, it sounds great. Like, I hear myself fine. My friend's like, yeah, you sound good. Let's roll with it.
I thought it sounded all right, though, until, now I can hear the difference. I don't think it sounded bad whatsoever.
Oh, but you can tell, like, on the last 2 shows that, like, it's coming through my computer microphone, which I didn't know at the time because I can still hear myself in my head. But it turns out as I log in, I was trying everything to figure this out. Like, why is this not working? But as we log in, it turns out I didn't have for the setting on this podcast server we use, I had my internal microphone checked.
At least you didn't have to revert to the use of a cell phone, like somebody else I know did for one episode. And it was, of course, during an interview episode.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't going to miss. You're a step ahead of me there.
You know, the big
not much, but, just a little bit.
You know, got to be an Apple user to be a little bit ahead.
Should have wore my boots tonight. It's getting deep.
Yeah, you can also see your breath, too.
I'm not gonna lie, pal. It's cold out here.
Your cheeks are turning blue.
We're supposed to be, we're supposed to be hitting this below zero Arctic freeze, and I've got a little propane heater out here that it's kind of keeping up now. And I think it takes about a good hour for it to get actual room temperature out here.
Hell, it's still 21 outside, dude. You got time.
Is it really? Wow. It says 20. We're just a little bit warmer than Denver. Not by much. Is it snowing there still?
What's getting it?
Okay. Well, it was coming down pretty dang good here when we were coming home, so it was starting to stick already.
Yep. Same. That's why I had to get off on this. I was hoping to get a DIA run and get a DIA run out, but homie failed me, man.
Well, it's not worth it with all the foreign drivers out there that don't know how to drive in the snow and
the Colo-RAD-ons out there.
The Colo-RAD-ons.
Yeah. So we need some input. What do you say? Colo-RAD-o?
Tell us
Colo-RAD-o.
how you say it.
Yep, you got to tell us. Hit us up on our YouTube.
I will be willing to bet you that the people that are from Colorado say Colorado. Let's find out.
I don't know. I mean, I'd say hit us up on our TikTok, but I don't know that that's going to be a possibility.
You got a little bit of time to hit us up on the TikTok, at least. So
you might have to hit us up on the old red note.
Yeah, comment on YouTube. I believe we have comments on YouTube, right? Okay, yeah, comment it up. Tell us how you say Colorado, or tell us even how you say Nevada. Because if you say Nevada like I do, I'm going to bet you're a rad person.
There it is.
There it is. I think we may be corrected, sir.
Got corrected on our Colorado pronunciation.
We'll see. Denver. We'll see how we get corrected, but I hope somebody comments.
All right, until then next week, and don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy, man. Please check us out on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Hit us up. We're always looking for somebody that wants to have a good conversation. So if you'd like to be on the podcast, just let us know. Feel free.
We might have to get corrected on boycotting Facebook and Meta here in a second.
You never know. Let us know your stance on social media. What do you think? Do you think it's all data harvesting, or do you think there's one that's better than the other? Let us know what you think.
That's right. Till next time.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.
Later.